to the channel, and today we're going to be making a Paw Patrol cake. As you can see, I've already made my cakes and my icing, and so you can go to other videos and see my cakes. It's the same recipes as my vanilla cake recipe in other videos. Link in description to some of those videos where you can see how to make my cakes. And for my icing, I will put the ingredients and the recipe down in the description below. So if you haven't already, please make sure to go subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, and comment. So let's get started. So now it's time to do the final coat for the cake. So to start off, we're just going to scrape down the sides of the bowl to get all that delicious icing down so we can get it onto the cake. And I'm just, like we did the crumb coat, I'm just going to put it on there and I'll scrape it off to the side and then smooth it out. And since I'm not going to be putting fondant or anything over this cake, I'm going to make sure that it is nice and smooth and that you can't see any cake. But if I were doing a fondant cake, what I would do is I would just do a crumb coat and not put it into the fridge or freezer, just to make sure that the fondant would stick to it. And I would just take it, roll out your fondant very, very quickly, and before it starts to set, just put it over and smooth it out. This is not a fondant cake video, it's icing. So we're going to smooth out our icing. Just make sure that it's nice and smooth. And you can't see any cake. Obviously, you don't want to see any cake, I guess. I mean, if you're doing like one of those rustic style cakes, you would want to see cake because it would be like a crumb coat, obviously. But we aren't doing a rustic style cake. We're doing a little Paw Patrol cake, okay? So we want to make sure that our icing is nice and smooth, and we can't see any cake. Just make sure you can't see any cake. And make sure that it's nice and smooth. And we're almost all the way around. And I'm also going to save some icing to do some swirls on the top. Swirl rosette things, whatever you want to call them. Smooth out this bottom, and we're going to finish this final section a little bit more. So I think we're almost done with getting the sides fully iced. Now we're just going to spread out all this extra that we have on the top. You just want to make sure that it's nice and smooth and you can see no cake, because you don't want to see cake. You want to see icing. So just keep it nice and smooth. And now just smooth this bottom, not the bottom, this side off, and then we're just going to bring this into the center. I'm just going to work on smoothing this out a little bit more, and then we'll start on the final decorating. So now we're just going to get these M&Ms. I have one big normal size M&M, and then I have 3 little mini M&Ms. And so what I'm going to do for Paw Patrol, since they're little puppies, I'm going to get these and make a paw print. So you can see I've already done one, and we're just going to do these all throughout the cake until, well, it has paw prints all over it. So now we're going to be making the fondant letters for the birthday cake. So it's going to be saying Happy Birthday Gunner, because that's the little boy that we're going to be making this cake for. So instead of using a silicone mat or parchment paper or wax paper to roll out my fondant, I like to use just some Crisco shortening and just rub it all over the surface of like the area that you're going to be putting your fondant on. And to roll out this, I'm not probably going to roll out that much because it's not going to take much to do all those letters. So now that I got all that smoothed out on our table, and I have a little bit left over on my hands. I'm just going to rub it all on my hands so the red food dye in the fondant does not dye my hands red, because trust me, you don't want that. So I'm just going to set this to the side. And now I'm going to get out our fondant, and then we're going to just knead it a little bit and just make sure it's nice and soft. But also, if you want your fondant to just not thin out, but just get a little bit more stretchier and pliable, easier and quicker, you can just take some Crisco. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rub my hands in some Crisco, and then we're going to just mix it all in, and it helps it thin out easier. Just knead it until it's not hard, but it's not like sticking to you a bunch. As you can see, it's already partially dyeing my hands red, so I'm just going to get a little bit more Crisco. Just to make sure it does not fully get on me. And another way to get food dye off of your hands is to actually just rub some Crisco on your hands and then wash them with warm water and a bunch of soap. Like Dawn, yeah, it's not going to come off unless you use like Dawn or something like that. But got it all over our hands, and we're just going to keep kneading this until it's a little bit more pliable and like stretchy. And if you like slime, this would probably be like a butter slime consistency, like a very, very thick butter slime consistency. So I think it's pretty much ready because you see you can stretch it and everything. And I'm just gonna lay it down. I'm gonna put a little bit more Crisco on my hands just to make sure it doesn't stick to me. And I'm also going to get some Crisco and put it onto my rolling pin. I have a pretty big rolling pin here because the bigger, the better. So you just want to get a nice, good coat over your whole entire rolling pin, just to make sure that it doesn't like stick to the rolling pin and like peel off. So now I'm just gonna wash my hands real quickly and then we'll get started. So now that I washed my hands and we're all nice and clean and not greasy anymore, I can hold on to the rolling pin and just start to roll the fondant out. And you'll see at first whenever it's in a kind of a big blob that it's just going to be sliding around on the table, but trust me, that will go away. And you don't really want too much Crisco because then if you use too much Crisco, it will make it like super sticky and gloppy and almost like a super thick buttercream consistency. And trust me, you don't want that to happen. So roll it out pretty thin. And nice and thin. And we want it to be all the same thick or thin, thickness, whatever you want to say. So I think that's pretty thin. So a few more rolls and that will also happen. That's actually what you need to do if you're putting fondant over cakes. You're just going to want to sit this here and then roll it up and then roll this back and you'll have all your fondant on your rolling pin. Then whenever you go to put it on your cake, you can just let it roll down kind of. But we're not doing that today. We're cutting out letters. So that is nice and thin. Now I just have all of these letters. It might not look all that you need to spell Happy Birthday Gunner, but trust me, it is. So I'm just going to start over here in the corner, push down, and then we have it. So I'm just going to let it sit there and kind of harden until it gets like not super hard, but just to where it's not going to flop around as much. So we're just going to do the same thing with all of these until we're all done spelling Happy Birthday Gunner. So now that we've got all of our letters cut out and they're pretty, well, they're not hard, they're just stiff enough to where they won't bend really that much whenever you pick them up. So we are just going to take these and we're going to put them on the top as Happy Birthday Gunner, and we're going to do like one Happy Birthday Gunner. We're not going to do Happy Birthday Gunner because I don't think we're going to be able to fit Happy and Birthday on the same row, and it probably will just look prettier if we do like that. So we're just going to put those on and then we'll get started on the next thing. So now I've colored just a little bit of my extra icing to a little bit of a darker shade of blue. And I have a small star tip, and I'm just going to do little dots all the way around the bottom until we finish that, and then we're going to just finish decorating.